Hey, hey, hey. All right, so I wanted to bring y'all this video from like the other day, but I be procrastinating and I don't ever do videos on time when I be like in the thick of the moment. So, I want to talk about I want to talk about egos. Everybody got an ego. There's nobody on this planet that don't have an ego, okay? Your ego controls a lot, okay, that some of you might not be aware of. But this particular video was about ego and emotions and things that make you tick, things that make you go hard on yourself, things that could potentially drag you down into a depression. These are just some of the things that your ego has an effect on. So basically, I'm going to talk about what makes you tick. Not even what makes you tick, but like what what's the word I'm looking for? What triggers you? What triggers you? What makes you start going hard on yourself? What makes you go like, talk down to yourself in your mind? Like, think what makes you do that? There's a reason for everything. Be mindful. There's a reason for everything. Based on your past, how you were raised, your life experiences, general things like that. Your ego, your ego will do you more harm than good, right? So like the other day, I had a moment, right? I had a moment, and I get these moments, and sometimes I don't know how to deal with them, so I start getting real down on myself. But this particular moment, like, I had to snap out of it. Like, sometimes you got to think and you got to snap out of it, right? So like, I stay to myself a lot. I don't have a huge circle of friends. Um, I be social when I want to be social. If we vibing, yeah, fine, that's different. But to hang out with a bunch of people, to be all involved and stuff, that's not really my MO. It never really was, but I can hold you up. Sometimes I'll be feeling like, damn, yo, I wish I had a bunch of friends, like, where my friends at, but like, I had to snap out of it because I was getting too down on myself, right? So like, it's nice outside. People outside having fun. People hanging out with they peoples and everything. And I'm just like, damn, yo. My mind is telling me all types of lies. Your mind will have you telling. Your mind will have you believing that. Your mind will have you believe in stuff that's not true. Your mind will have you believe in stuff that's not true. If you let it. If you let it, yo, your mind will take you on a freaking trip. Like, it's crazy. So you got to get that under control. So once I caught myself going down that rabbit hole of a downward spiral of beating myself up internally, like, I had to catch myself real quick because I'm just like, wait, hold up. Ego, why you lying? Ego, why you telling me these lies? Ego. This stuff is not true. Ego, fall back and stop putting these lies in my head. Stop filling my head with these lies. This is your ego. Your ego will tell you stuff that's not true. If you let your ego tell you stuff that's not true consistently, you will begin to believe it, and that will lead you somewhere that you don't want to be. Okay? So these are things that you have to do, and these things work. I'm going to tell you what you have to do. So if you find yourself going down that rabbit hole of depression, despair, whatever, you got to tell yourself real quick, like, is it true? You got to ask yourself in your mind or out loud, whatever you want to do, whatever you feel comfortable with, that's up to you. You got to ask yourself, is it true? Is it true? Like, I was going through a period where I felt lonely, so I had to ask myself, like, hold up, Z, Nori, is this true? Is this true? Are you lonely? Prove it to me. Prove it. Prove it to me. Prove it to me. How could you prove that to me? Okay? Or are you lying to me? You know, you got to go deep, man, because like I said, if you let the ego tell you, if you let the ego fill your head with stuff, you are going to begin to believe it. And I kid you not, once I confronted myself internally and asked myself, like, is that true? How is that true? And if it's true, prove it. Your mind will give you so many excuses and try to prove to you that it's true. But I guarantee you, if you keep asking yourself questions so your ego can prove it, eventually it's going to run out of stuff to try to convince yourself. And then you're going to realize, like, oh yeah, my ego is lying to me. Okay? My ego is trying to get me to believe stuff that's not true. Okay? So for all y'all out there that's struggling emotionally, because right now it's a tough time for everybody. A lot of people out there that's usually out there socializing, partying, and all this stuff aren't really able to do it, you know, as much as they usually do. You got to catch yourself. If you catch yourself going down that path of depression or questioning yourself, you know, you got to snap out of it. Ask your mind. Tell your ego to shut up and tell your ego to stop filling your head with garbage, because if you let it, it's going to keep doing it. So that's pretty much it. Control your ego. Don't let your ego control you. Okay, you're in control. You got to understand that your mind is more powerful than the flesh. Okay, your mind is more powerful than your emotions. You have to understand that. Take that, internalize that. Okay? Much more powerful than the flesh. Once you realize that, yo, you will have so much control over your life. It's not even funny. So I'm going to leave that one with y'all. I had to get that off my chest, off my mind, because it was there and it needed to get out. So whoever take this message, you take what you get from it. Okay, you take what you get from it and you go with that. All right? Peace and love. Stay grounded. It's a spiritual war out there. Protect yourself. Protect your mind. Okay? And hold peace and love in your heart. All right? Peace, y'all.